Hey, so like mostly everyone knows, I did recently just buy my first investment property at the age of 19 and I'm now a landlord. I did actually just recently film a video doing a house tour of that house. That was the first video I ever put on this channel, so I will put a little thingy to go to that either here or here. I don't know how it works with the camera. But in summary, that was not too hard to do. I basically lived as frugally as I could, saved as much money as I could, living with my parents, spending as little money as possible, and working as much as I possibly can. And I think roughly it only took me around about 8 or 9 months to save up for a deposit on a home, and you can do that pretty easily too. And this video is pretty much going to summarize exactly how much I make right now from that investment property. It's a bit of a more nitty-gritty video than my first one, going into the numbers of the property and how much money I make from it, and also going over all my kind of expenses to do with the property also. So after this video, you'll know exactly how much money I make per month from this investment property that I purchased at 19. You'll be able to see my cash flow each month on this property, you know, how much money I actually get from it each month in person, but also we'll break down how much money I make on paper from this property also, because that's the thing with real estate. Because the main benefit isn't the cash flow that you get each month, it's actually the wealth and the equity that you build in the property, but we'll get into that more a bit later in the video, don't worry. There's going to be a lot of numbers in this video, but don't worry, I will break them down so you know exactly what's going on. So before we get into it, all I ask from you guys is to like the video if you do like it, because that tells YouTube that you like it. So we'll start off with the contracted amount each week. So the money that I get off of the tenant every single week for renting the property out. They pay me $280 a week to live in the property. So we'll get all these numbers nice and clear, get them all monthly just to make everything easier. So the $280 a week, if we times that by 12, that's the yearly figure. That'll get me to 14,560 a year. If we divide that by 12 to get it into month, we'll see that the tenant is paying me $1,213 a month to live in the property. Now we'll get into all my expenses, because there's more than what you probably think if you haven't owned a property before. I have my utilities, so obviously if you're owning a house, right, you do have to pay some bills. I have my rates and taxes, so this is pretty much what the government's going to charge you. It's a land tax. So it's what the government charges you for actually owning the land. Since this property is pretty new, I don't have the exact figure on this yet, but doing searches and similar things in this area, we are looking at around about 1,100 a year, I would estimate. If we divide that by 12 to get it monthly, that's an expense of $92 a month. Another utility I also have to pay for is water, having actual water and a sewage connection hooked up to the house. Now the tenant covers any kind of water that they use, but I still have to pay yearly to actually have that connection hooked up, which is a bit of a pain. So again, with this one, I don't have an exact figure since the property is so new, but I do estimate it to be around about $900 a year. Based on what I could find, and again what I've been told, if we divide that by 12 to get it to monthly, that is an expense of around about $75 a month also, which in total brings the total utility costs to around about $167 a month. I then have my insurance policy that I have to pay monthly for, which covers me for any damages or anything like that that would happen to the property. Also covers any malicious acts caused by the tenants. So if the tenants want to be a bit naughty and break some of my stuff, I'm covered for that. You know, look, not something likely to happen if you have some nice tenants. You still just have to take these precautions, and insurance is pretty much a mandatory thing. And my insurance policy is only around about $38 and a few cents a month. So we'll just round it all square to be $38 a month. Now, since I have this property managed by a real estate agent, I do pay them a monthly servicing kind of fee for them to actually look after the property and make sure the tenants are being good tenants. Obviously this comes with a monthly fee, but there are some pros and cons which way you go really, if you want to manage the property yourself or you just hire a real estate to manage it for you. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to you. I decided to pay them to manage the property just because I don't have too much time on my hands, to be honest. So I thought it for me, it'd be more worth it paying that bit extra for them to manage everything, and if anything goes wrong, they can find me a new tenant pretty easily. That way I don't have to file through and sort through like tens or hundreds of applications. All their kind of fees added up, they do charge me around about 11% of what the tenant pays a month. That's inclusive of tax, so 11% of the $1,213 a month that I said earlier that the tenants give me, you'll find that they'll charge me around about $133 a month. So now, after all of those expenses, that gets me clearing around about $877 a month, right? But no, now we get to the granddaddy expense of them all, the big one, your mortgage repayment each month. Currently I have a 3-year fixed home loan. It's currently fixed at 2.24%, and we do see my monthly mortgage repayments be roughly $747 a month. So now minusing that off of that other figure that I had, that gets me to a positive cash flow of around about $130 a month. Every month, extra money in my pocket that I can do whatever I want with for the next 20 years or so, pending that everything stays the same, but the chances of that are unlikely. But yeah. So yeah, I probably understand that doesn't really seem too enticing to everyone. It's only an extra $130 a month for making such a large investment. But if we look on paper, that's where it starts to get really exciting with how much equity I'm building in the property. I'll explain this a bit further now, right? So with every mortgage repayment, every $747 a month that goes to the bank, part of that goes towards paying principal off my loan. Part of that goes towards the interest expense, which is what the bank profits. And now, obviously, as your loan balance gets smaller and smaller, they're calculating interest on a smaller and smaller amount, which means you're going to get charged less and less interest each month, right? You following me so far? Which means each month I'm actually paying more and more principal off of that loan. I'll put a quick example up on the screen here now. So for example, let's just say my property is worth $100,000. You use $20,000 of your own money as a down payment to finance this loan, and the rest you borrow $80,000 from the bank to buy this property worth $100,000. Right now, your equity or your stake of the house is $20,000. You own $20,000 worth of that house. Paying off of your loan each month is going to reduce the bank's stake, so the bank's portion of ownership, and it's going to increase your portion of ownership. You're going to own a larger percentage as time goes on of the property, increasing your net worth. So eventually, let's just say you get to the point where you pay $10,000 off of the loan. Then your equity in the home now is $30,000, and you've just gained $10,000 of net worth. You're technically $10,000 richer. And that's just assuming that the price of the house doesn't increase over time, which it more than likely will. I estimate for my first mortgage repayment for the first month, I'm going to get charged around about $350 in interest, which means the other part, so $747 subtract $350, it's going to go towards paying the principal, which means my net worth will increase by that $397 every single month. So every single month on paper, I'm getting roughly $397 richer. And each month as my loan gets smaller, every single month that I pay down, I'm going to be gaining a larger and larger stake each month. So in a few years' time, I might be, gaining, say, $500 each month in net worth, $600 each month. So we can see on paper, I'm actually getting a lot richer every single month. And this is why real estate is such a good investment. This has been proven time and time again. And the real advantage with real estate right now is interest rates are so low, you can borrow money so cheap. You can practically get free money from the bank, and you can do this and you can start building equity very fast. So yeah, we can say I'm only cash flow positive around about $130 each month. But if we, on paper, if we take into that account that I'm building my wealth by, say, $400 every month, I'm technically on paper making $530 every single month from this property. And that's not even taking into account over time that home prices generally increase. In 20 years' time, this property may be worth double its value, triple its value potentially. In 30 years' time or so. that's going to increase your position and your net worth even further. So guys, there you have it. That's pretty much how much money I make every single month off of my investment property. You can see in the end, it's not about the cash flow from real estate, but it's about the net worth and the equity that you build in the property. Because if you can continue to do this and you just keep doing this with more and more properties, you're going to end up very wealthy in the future. But guys, that's pretty much it for today. If you could please smash the like button, that would be great. And if you've made it that far and you're not subscribed, why don't you subscribe with this little circle thing here? That would be much appreciated. That's all I've got for today, guys. You have a good one.